What's up, guys? Corona Chronicles Podcast Paradise, Episode 4. This is Max.
This is Jonah.
And this is Dan.
All right. Uh, we have to talk about Elon Musk kid.
Oh, no.
Yes, Kyle.
So, so this kind of gets back to our roots a little bit. Remember when we used to have like almost every podcast would open with like either making fun of Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, I miss dunking on rich people.
Yeah, now it's Elon Musk.
Yeah, well, here we go. So Elon Musk's child, XAI A-12.
Oh.
Which, first of all, nobody knew what it meant or how to pronounce it at first, and until Grimes posted about it on her Twitter. Her Twitter handle is fucking disgusting, by the way.
Her name is kind of gross too.
Well, her Twitter handle, I had to look it up to make sure I had his name right for this show. Her Twitter handle is like, it's like a typical. I don't want to be like, I don't want to attack a potential viewer, but it's exactly what you'd expect. It has like a fuck ton of like star emojis and stuff. Like it's a Grimes Twitter handle, but
it's like they're trying to turn their Twitter handle into art.
Yes, exactly. And
one of those kind of people. All right.
There are more emojis in the Twitter handle than there are regular characters. I'll just leave it at that. So the kid, XAI A-12, so named because, if I'm remembering correctly, X is the unknown variable. The Greek letters are for AI, like artificial intelligence, and then A-12 is their favorite kind of plane, I guess. Like airplane.
I thought it was like a spacecraft.
I think it's the precursor to the SR-71 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what Grimes said. So it's a stealth plane.
That's interesting.
Dude, just name him Jacob or something. Like, come on.
But
dude, name him Rat so we can be, and then like reverse his name, Muskrat.
Yeah, Rat Musk.
Yeah, Rat Musk.
So the name is funny and it's been totally memed, but I gotta say, as someone who's hated Elon Musk literally since I've ever heard of him, I have been absolutely loving these past 2 weeks. I have been fucking through the moon about it because he becomes a meme because of his kid's stupid ass name. He single-handedly, in one tweet, tanks Tesla stock. And then everybody, well, I guess we should probably explain to the viewers out there. He literally tweeted, Tesla's stock is too high right now, and then it drops a shit ton.
Yeah, everyone pulled out.
Oh my god.
So good job, Elon Musk. And then third, and probably my favorite of all, everyone knows he's a total dumbass now because he tweeted, like, let the people outside or some shit like that.
Oh,
so,
he did?
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Dude, how could him of all people?
Yeah, I think I did see that actually, and I was like, what? This is coming from Elon Musk?
I've been like a pig in shit this week. Those three things back to back, I've been so happy. It's amazing. He destroyed his reputation in a week.
Dude.
I'm so tired of celebrity baby names.
This
like
one is
Northwest.
Deserving of memeage.
This one is by far the worst, like without a doubt. Like
this one is so funny though.
Like Northwest is like, oh haha funny. Fucking like XAI like X12 or whatever the fuck. Imagine this kid imagine a substitute teacher coming to this kid's class and seeing the roster of like James, Jacob, and Maddie and like a bunch of other fucking normal ass people, and then fucking XAI shows up.
Dude, I like all the memes where it's like enter username here and it's like must have one symbol, 2 letters, uppercase and lowercase.
Yeah, one Greek character.
Who the fuck has numbers in their name?
Elon Musk's son.
Honestly, the worst part for me is the Greek letter.
Oh wait, Max, I have something that I think you'd appreciate about this.
I think
I
it's
don't.
Okay.
I don't like when I'm not. I'm just paraphrasing right now, but I'm pretty sure I remember Grimes tweeting something like saying that she didn't want to like assign her baby a gender or anything, and that she was like, I want to let my baby decide on its own, and I want to let it explore itself. And then someone, right when the baby was born, someone tweeted at Elon Musk like, "Is it a boy or a girl?" And he just goes, "A boy."
Wow.
Awesome. You were right. I did love that. That was great.
Yeah, that was great. I think what makes me kind of mad. This kind of makes me mad with like all rich people's children is that this kid's gonna like grow up to be like super rich. So he's gonna have this like retarded or dumb name.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Mentally
the kid's
impaired
probably gonna be a
name.
shit stain, so he deserves to be XAI. Like, if he's being fucking raised by Grimes and Musk, like the two most like putrid humans on the earth, like, of course.
But he's gonna be
icky.
so vengeful. It's gonna be like yeah, he's gonna be like a little shit stain. Like
Dude, I cannot imagine those two like even in the same room together.
Can you imagine
Like,
them being parents and disciplining a XAI A-12?
first of
I'd
all,
imagine like
Elon
Grimes
Musk will
being
not
like
be
an
a father.
absolute. I'd imagine Grimes being like an absolute just like pushover and just being like, XAI, like you can do whatever. I believe in you. And then Elon Musk is just gonna be a shitter to his kid. It's just gonna be so rude.
Dude,
I
Elon Musk
can't
is be
imagine
like,
that
talk to me
working.
when you're 18. That's what he's gonna say. He's be like, I don't want to look at you. The nannies are gonna raise you. You're gonna be
No, he's gonna
raised
be
on a
like, "All
space
right,
station.
once you take over a company and patent something, maybe we can talk. But until then, fuck off, XAI. Go talk to Grimes."
And if you aren't successful, we'll just send you to Mars. All right?
Test subject.
Yeah, you'll be the first person on Mars, and you're not coming back.
He's named like a fucking lab experiment, so I think it works.
They keep him like a giant rodent cage. The little water thing on the side for him to
I could
sit.
see them with a giant hamster wheel in their house.
That's how they power their cars.
Oh no.
Well, in any case, the memes about this have been amazing, in my opinion. About the kid's name. All the ones where it's like Elon Musk hearing a noise from downstairs, and then it's like him back in bed, like, oh, it's just XAIA12. And then him sitting up in the like remembering he put him on night mode. They're they're pretty good.
I like the one of the guy diving off of a bridge and he transforms into a jet plane. Is
Yes. Yes.
when XAI X12 is late for dinner.
Jesus.
But more broadly, this is the thing that fucking sucks about Elon Musk, and what I could always see through from the beginning is he's a guy who, just because he talks about cool things like AI and flamethrowers and space, that people automatically assume that he is cool and smart, which is not the case, as we are learning this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think people put too much like weight in like celebrities' opinions. It's just like, oh, they're a celebrity. They got to be right and smart and not human.
But
Here's
people
the thing.
people think he's like a genius.
He's good at math. He's good at like programming and stuff, but he's not socially savvy.
Well,
You know?
he's also not that
Not
smart.
business
Like
savvy either.
a lot of
apparently.
his things that he does that make people go, "Oh my god, this guy is so awesome," is literally just like, yeah, I'm just gonna say some crazy shit to make headlines and then never do it. Like it was like, what has it been, 7 years since he first said that he was gonna build that super fast highway between New York and Los Angeles?
Where is it?
Or
I'm
remember
pretty
when
sure
called-
he.
Remember when
Pretty sure he
called that rescue
confirmed that he's
design-
not building that. Like last year, he was like, "Yeah, no, we've suspended plans for that." It's like, yeah, no shit, it's not fucking physically possible.
Well,
Like,
it seems like every couple of months there'll be like some big science article that comes out. It's like Elon Musk planning to, I don't know, build a space station around the moon or some crazy crap like that. And it's like, no, he's
He
not doing
announces
that.
things way
Because
too
that's
early.
all
Like he
he
needs to
has.
put more R&D into them before he actually announces them and makes like a plan. You can't just be on like the first stage of like constructing something and then just like barely have any plans for it and be like, yeah, it's gonna happen by 2020. Like
But
it
that's not
doesn't
he.
work.
It's not even that he's not in any form of construction. He's just like, yeah, this would be cool, so
No,
I'll
that's what I
say
mean. Like
it.
the
So,
first step of like construction before you even have a plan. Like when you're just like creating a concept. Like
but
that's when he announces his
legitimate,
ideas, which is so stupid.
I legitimately think he just wakes up and goes, I want to do this, so I want to put it on in the papers. I want this to be on wax. That even though I'm probably not going to be able to build it, I just want it to be on record as I was the guy who came up with it.
That's very possible,
I
which
legitimately
annoys me
think that's
even
what he's
more.
doing, and it makes me so goddamn. I've been so mad at it for years.
Well, it's
Also,
like I feel like people think that like intelligence and like being smart works like it did in high school, whereas like if you were smart, you were just smart and like good at pretty much like everything. Whereas like the stupid people were like bad at most things. Like it's not like that once you're outside of high school. You can be super smart in some areas, be an absolute fucking dunderhead in other areas. Like just because he's good at one thing doesn't mean that he's like an overall genius. He could just be specializing in one area. So people just like see him as this mega mind figure when he's just good at some things but stupid in others.
But what is he good at? What's his one thing that he's good
I don't fucking know,
technology.
dude. I don't know enough
Like
about him.
he's probably good at like engineering or
He's
programming or
obviously
something.
smart at something if he got to where he is now.
Yeah.
I think
Or
He
he's
at least
I think he's
extremely
smart at
lucky and
gaming.
smart.
I think he's smart at gaming headlines.
Yeah, so he's smart in that, but he's not smart in other
But there's
things.
nothing but there's nothing he's ever shown that means he's good at either business or running a company.
If anything, he's shown that he's bad at it from not
Yeah.
oh,
being
that stocks
like the
tweet.
head of Tesla anymore, right? Or not
Yeah,
being on the
he's
board
no
or
longer the
whatever it
head of the
is.
board. Um
He needs to keep his mouth shut. Like there's the reason why a lot of CEOs and board members aren't also celebrities, so they can't pull stupid shit like this.
Yeah, he's rich and cocky. He thinks
but
he
it
can say anything.
but it's because that's what his stock is based on. The Tesla stock, it's like a Ponzi. It's this is going to happen one day because I say it's going to happen. So therefore people buy into it the
Yeah, before the
stock
product's
market
even made.
because the stock market is a lot of copycat. So people just assume that Tesla are going to be the company that discovers the self-driving cars and licenses that technology out to every other company.
Also, who knows? It could be like Amazon. They have their own, or Jeff Bezos has his own space program.
It honestly, the AI, if self-driving cars are ever possible, they're probably going to come from Google. They were kind of the first ones in the door on this. They have a ton of money. The Alphabet company has a whole division for AI. It's not going to be Tesla that figures this out.
I
They
could
might be
see
able
it
to
being.
figure out how to like integrate the AI into the car, but I'd definitely say yeah, Google's the one who like actually creates it.
You think the AI is going to be Google's or the AI and the car? Will it be like a Google car?
I think it'll be the
Um,
AI.
well, they way back. This was years ago. They were the first people who came out with any sort of self-driving car. They in like 2013, they had that car that drove itself through that obstacle course.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody from that video, all the projections were out. Like, oh, we have this now. By 2017, everyone will have self-driving cars.
Which is
And
not
then
true because cars are expensive.
they started totally in like 2015 or 16. It was either late 2015 or early 2016 where they started putting all the AI to the test, and they had so many flaws and they all started crashing. And I think Obama even donated like a stupid amount of money into the research for it. But yeah, it's 2020 now, and It still hasn't happened. But anyway, yeah, no. So Google had the AI and the car first, pretty much. Like they were totally on the forefront with this. And obviously they wouldn't be creating the Google car and putting it onto market, but they would have the technology and probably license it.
Yeah, and either way, licensing it would probably make them a lot more money because like making
Definitely.
their own
Yeah.
cars is really expensive, and like they
Getting
don't
like a
really have
little
the facilities
royalty
for that.
for every car sold.
Oh well, a massive royalty, probably.
Yeah.
Because like
And
if
it'll
that's
be in
the draw of the
literally
car,
every
like
car.
yeah, and if that's like the main draw of the car for when they first start coming out, no doubt Google's gonna get a big chunk of that.
Think about the guy who probably licensed something really dumb that's in like I'm trying to like is there a guy who like patented like child lock in cars, and I bet that guy is like just secretly rich because he
Well,
just licensed it to every car ever.
imagine the dude who patented zip ties. Like that's something small, but like it's everywhere. Like he's probably making a shit ton of money.
Yeah, that's true, but I was talking more about like someone who like just licensed something tiny, and that the thing that they patented just became standard in every vehicle.
Yeah.
That guy probably has a lot of money
I
and
patented
didn't really have to do that
airbag.
much work.
I mean, as long as he like did it right, I'm sure he did. But he easily could be like chipped out of that.
I patented rear view mirrors.
I bet somebody probably did that.
I don't think so. I don't think that's something that's just something that like every car manufactures individually, and like nobody owns that. It's just a mirror.
You'd be surprised at what can get patented though.
Well, you
I
could
had
like
always
patent
heard,
a specific design for the rear view mirror,
yeah, right, and you can patent the application too.
which is insane that you can do that.
Yeah, there are a bunch of weird things that have been patented. Like I have always heard that Apple have a patent for I mean, there's no video, so you can't see the motion I'm making with my fingers. But if you can picture the motion that you do on an iPhone where you want to zoom in on something and you kind of
the
like
pinch.
you like your fingers like move apart and together to zoom in and out. I've always heard that Apple has a patent on that move.
Well, Keurig has a patent on the K cups, so no other coffee machine can use those little cup things.
Really?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of similar things, anyways. Like I have a coffee machine that does like its own pods. So that's the thing. A lot of the times they patent very specific designs. People can come and can like alter their design and make it their own. But
Mm-hmm.
if you are able to patent a design that's sort of broad enough, you can get a lot of stuff under that belt, probably.
Yeah, sometimes they
Also-
don't grant patents that are so broad though. You're right. It is kind of like you have to get like just the right language in your patent so you can stop people from avoiding it and creating essentially the same product.
Yeah, that's why you have to be like vague enough, but still specific enough to get it through. It's like a bit of a balancing act.
Mm-hmm. And it also just depends on what you're patenting. Like there are some things that they'll just tell you like, yeah, you can't get a patent on it.
Yeah, because it's so like every day. Like it's like trying to patent a stick. Like you can't just do that. Or copywriting the word react.
Yeah, I was just about to
Yes.
mention that. Fine Bros trying to copyright a word. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Didn't Taylor
And there's
Swift try
also
and do
prior
that?
use too.
Yeah,
Well-
like the whole copywriting like words and phrases is really weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah, like when LeBron tried to copyright Taco Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. Or isn't it's something isn't like the happy birthday song copywritten? And that's why like in most TV shows where like they do a happy birthday, they'll like just cut to like the people singing and many more at the end.
I thought that was a myth.
It might be. That's why I'm sort of proposing it, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
a
not
thing.
sure because patents run out after a while.
It
Yeah,
could be
I think
that
it's public
could be
domain.
over.
It's 70 years after the creator's death. I'm pretty sure.
That's really long.
And I did know that it used to be less, and then specifically, so because Walt Disney, a very powerful company, wanted to keep all their characters copyrighted, they lobbied to get it extended. So that's why it's very long now.
Yeah, the Happy Birthday song became public domain, and then I think Warner Brother bought it back.
That's insane that you can just buy it back.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what this article's saying.
Dude, what a greedy move. What a just like a completely useless greedy thing to do.
Yeah.
But there's something weird about song like, can't you use? I've always thought that you can use like 4 seconds of a song, and you don't have to pay for the royalty or something.
I don't know. I think it depends on.
So you can say like, you can show the end of the song because that'll be less than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that
I think
could
that
be
it works like that with like sampling too, because like you can sample from a song.
Yeah,
And
I've
not
always
to
heard
pay.
that story about how MTV News, or one of the MTV segments, like used a song for their intro but cut it like right before the copyright would have come into play.
0.02 milliseconds.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
literally.
Just rude. I wonder if the Pornhub theme song's copywritten.
No, it's definitely not. I see that everywhere.
Well, yeah, but that's like people playing it. Oh, maybe it's too. Maybe something like that is like too short to copyright.
This
I don't
is
know.
one. Actually, I was talking to someone about this today online. That I mean, talking is a stretch. It was more in typical Max fashion. Typical Max fashion. It was a YouTube comment argument.
Oh, great.
So calling it talking is a bit of a stretch, but it was like, is covering music, is that copyrighted? When someone makes a cover of a song on YouTube?
I don't think it's supposed to be, but still, there. I remember hearing stories about like people doing covers of like. Remember, someone even did like a cover of a song using like toilet paper rolls, and like ripping toilet paper, and they got hit with a copyright strike.
I thought it was
I
as
don't think
long
it's
as
supposed to. I don't think it's supposed to be like that, but I think it still happens every once in a while.
I thought it was you just have to give credit, and then it's under fair usage.
But I've seen cover songs get taken down. Like
I
when
think
someone
that
will
might
do
be,
a,
like erroneous though. I don't think that's actually using the system correctly because those usually get resolved.
Mhm.
I think for something like that, it might be more up to like the music group or like the company that owns like everything, like the record company. It might be more up to them about how they enforce it. So I think it's kind of like situation based.
Yeah, that would make sense. I actually, here's a funny story. I remember, and not to derail this too much because we have a bunch we need to get to, but I remember there was a music reviewer who used to his channel has long since been deleted of his own accord, but I remember he made music reviews and he never played music in his videos, and there was one band that copyright claimed a ton of his reviews. First of all, they only copyright claimed the negative reviews. So he reviewed their entire discography, and they let every positive review stay up, but they claimed every negative review. And what they claimed it for was because he used the album artwork in the thumbnail.
Wow.
That's stupid.
Not even the music,
Crazy.
album artwork.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I know
he
like
never-
Fantano never posts any of the music in his reviews. It's always
Yeah.
just him talking.
But he has the album artworks, doesn't he? I don't really watch his videos.
No, yeah,
But-
he always does. They're always up in the background.
Yeah, so apparently if a band is mad at the review, they can claim that video, I guess.
Yeah, dude. Like YouTube copyright is not a good example of like actual copyright because it's enforced like dog shit. But stuff like that is insane that it can like happen.
Yeah, and again, kind of a red flag when they only claim the negative stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of a red flag. It's definitely made me think, a lot less of that band, that's for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Well,
how
it's
uncool of them.
it's weird because there's also an issue with that in video games, like a lot. Like, for Persona 5, I think for a little bit, all the cutscenes in the game were copyrighted. The gameplay wasn't, but like, so if you were streaming the game, you would have to like mute your stream and like blank the screen whenever like a animated cutscene played, because you weren't allowed to show that. But it was
That's
specifically
how it
only
is for a
that,
lot of
and like
games.
no, it's not. No, it's not. It's only
Yeah,
like that
I've
for
only
like
ever
for
really seen
games with
that if a game is
publishers who are
brand
bad.
new and they don't want it spoiled.
Yeah, but a lot. It's mostly with games that are like have really weird publishers. Like Atlas is really weird. They're amazing, but they're weird with like their PR. But like I remember fucking DSP, his videos got taken down because of it, and he quit Persona. Which I mean, that good came out of it, but yeah,
Well, I'm
it's a
pretty
really
sure.
weird situation. That's kind of like a
Didn't
base to base.
didn't Rockstar have something weird
Yes.
with like Mafia 2 or some shit where they did that?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Maybe.
Rockstar does that, and they did that with Red Dead when it first came out.
And Nintendo is insanely guilty of it, and not just when they come out, but like all the time. There was a time in YouTube history where Nintendo wanted to make a program where if you were playing like one of their games, they got a portion of the money that you made from the video, and obviously that never came to pass. But it's so some of the companies can get so greedy when they're getting like free publicity.
Mm-hmm. All right, are we ready to move on?
Oh yeah, I'm good to go. Dan's muted, so I don't know about him.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I had to let Buddy back upstairs.
Okay,
I'm fine now.
I was gonna say I was about to toss it to you for your topic, and then you were muted.
Oh, just inconvenient timing. Buddy wanted to go upstairs.
All right. Well, anyway, Dan, our resident bug expert, and I feel like I am not overselling him by calling him an expert.
No, you're definitely not.
Specifically requested to me that he have a moment to talk about the murder hornets. So you have the floor, Dan.
So yeah, bugs are my wheelhouse. All right. Yeah. So you may or may not have heard this. There's this new hysteria about the murder hornet found in Washington State. Let me just say that if you're terrified of wasps, you're kind of dumb. Unless you're allergic. There's no reason to be scared of wasps. All right, because
Except for pain.
there are so many other animals in the wild that will do much more damage to you than wasps. Like
But
ticks and mosquitoes.
Well, yeah, but
they're
wasps,
also more
it's like an
common.
intense pain right then and there. Like, I don't think it's weird to be afraid of them.
But I guess what I'm trying to get at is with this hysteria is that it's completely manufactured by the media. There were 2 wasps found in Washington State. It was a very small nest. And by the way, it was September. So what it was is that the media was getting lower clicks because people were getting sick of reading about the coronavirus. So they threw in this new murder wasp thing, which before this month, murder wasp was not even a term. And now they're saying, oh, scientists are deeming this new wasp the murder hornet. It's like, no, we've known about the Asian giant hornet for forever. Like you can't not miss a giant hornet. And the fact that they're claiming that these scientists are all calling it the murder hornet is just completely untrue. Maybe it was like one batshit crazy pseudoscientist who was like, yeah, they'll carry away your children. Like,
Yeah, I
no.
was gonna say I know how as someone who's done a few interviews, I know how easy it can be if you really want to take one quote from one person out of context and make it the headline and totally change the story.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like,
If you interview one scientist who calls it the murder hornet, even in like a kind of funny context, Or if he's explaining it in the like on the scale of the insect world that it's a murder hornet, that's fair game. You can totally take that and put that in your headline.
Or even if the scientist is quoting you when you say murder hornet, like you call it the murder hornet and they respond with it only because you said it. Like you're essentially putting words in their mouths, but they said it. It works.
So, like, one crappy small news outlet coined the term murder hornet from some probably even crappier pseudoscientist, and then big news outlets like the New York Times, BuzzFeed, CBS all took it and ran.
We use the term news outlet loosely with BuzzFeed.
Yeah, all right. Like, I don't know. Safe space. I don't know what you want to call them. But yeah, they all took the term murder hornet and ran. And really, insects, especially wasps, do not need this kind of hate, you know? Because what's happening now is people are like, they're seeing like yellow jackets and bald-faced hornets. They're like, oh no, it's the murder hornet, and they're killing them. And they're blaming them on this. They're like saying, oh, I killed it because it could have been a murder hornet. It's like, no. Come on.
Also, Dan, I actually looked up murder hornet just because I wanted to see like what was trending about it, and literally there's a section called Mantis News, and it's the first headline is from CNET. Praying mantis will save us all from murder hornets, and then another praying mantis eat murder hornets eat the murder hornet's face, becoming Twitter's new hero. Mantis eats hornet's brain. It's all just like talking about its natural predator of like and how it's a hero.
So yes, the Chinese mantis, which is an established invasive species on the eastern side, like let me just first of all, in Rhode Island and all of New England, we do not have a native praying mantis. Praying mantises are not native here. Every praying mantis that we see is most likely the Chinese praying mantis, but it could also possibly be the European mantis. But the native Carolina mantis is like south of Maryland or something. They do not occur here. And what they're saying is that this invasive Chinese mantis, because it lives in Asia along with the murder hornet, or I'm not even going to call it that. It's the giant Asian hornet. They're saying that it'll tear apart all these hornets and eat them. It's like, no. There's one praying mantis versus a colony of hornets. A praying mantis isn't going to do crap. And not
also,
to mention
you don't want more praying mantis anyways because they're an invasive species.
That video is misleading. The one where the praying mantis is eating the giant Asian hornet. That praying mantis, I mean that giant hornet was incapacitated before that video. They do this with all sorts of insect fighting videos, especially with praying mantises, because praying mantises are ambush hunters. So if you put a praying mantis in a pit with some other big bug, chances are it's not even gonna if it does strike at that other bug, it'll escape. So what they did is they probably froze that hornet or did something to it so that it couldn't fight back. And that's why the praying mantis just grabbed it and started eating it.
Yeah, like the hornet it's literally just sitting there like curled up.
Yeah, it was
just comes up to it.
That was not a healthy hornet. In a real life scenario, this would never happen. A hornet and a mantis would, at least a giant hornet and a mantis would not interact because the mantis would see that as too risky of a meal.
Yeah, it just starts off with the hornet just like standing on the ground doing nothing.
If they were to fight, the hornet would win because the hornet's jaws are more powerful than the mantis's forceps.
I don't know. It's so annoying. Just like sensationalism.
Also, if you're so scared of murder hornets reaching your state, chances are they're already here in a different species.
Headlines. Dan Farnworth making headlines.
Yeah, don't take it that way.
Someone's gonna write an article, dude.
Murder hornets are in the Asian giant hornets are in the genus Vespa. The other hornet that's in the genus Vespa is the European giant hornet, which is naturalized in the eastern United States. It's not quite as big as the Asian giant hornet, but all of its tendencies are almost exactly the same.
Dan,
And we do not
this
get
is off
any
topic.
reports.
This is off
What?
topic, but is that why it's called Vespiquen?
Yes, that is. Also because Vespidae is the wasp family, or the
Okay,
I
was
guess
just
the
curious.
eusocial wasp family. Yeah, and so we already have the European hornet here, and nobody seems to want to talk about that. So if there's an insect you want to be scared of, just make it mosquitoes, or make it an invasive species like gypsy moths or spotted lanternflies, which are terrible and do way more damage than any murder hornet would ever do.
Are you familiar with Japanese bug fights?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
website.
Yeah, I am.
I'm pretty sure there's actually an episode where I don't know if it's the same hornet because I don't remember, and I saw it way before the whole murder hornet thing. But I'm pretty sure I remember a mantis versus a giant hornet video, and the hornet won.
Yeah, hornets will win most of those battles.
It was pretty cool, though, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how you feel about the Japanese bug fights, but
So I have mixed feelings. When you're putting up, all right, so if you're putting up one insect that has no killing tendencies against one that does, it's stupid. Like if you put a rhino beetle with a centipede, what's the rhino beetle gonna do?
whoa, isn't the rhino beetle like the season 2 champion of that show?
Maybe against other. The thing is with the rhino beetle is it's impossible to kill, but it's not gonna do any killing of its own.
I think the rhino beetle in season 2 went like 21-1 or something crazy.
I'd have to look into it because from what I would assume is that a rhino beetle, it's armored, but it has no instinct to attack. You know, it only attacks other rhino beetles.
Well, they probably do something to agitate it before the fights, right? And that's how they get them to like just go at each other.
Well, a lot of times it seems like they just drop them in the same small environment because a lot of times they'll like attack each other and then like back off for a little bit, like almost as if they're both trying to flee, but there's nowhere to flee, so they just end up fighting again.
Also,
that
they're
makes
not
sense.
showing the more common scenario where the two insects just run around in circles and not attack each other ever because they do not want anything to do with each other.
I mean, those videos, when you really think about them, they are fucked up. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad that I've gotten to. You know what I mean?
I used to do stuff like that in my backyard, actually. But I didn't
Oh
do
my
it that
God.
much. There was one time where I found this garden snake in my backyard.
Oh my god.
So I put it in this big mesh enclosure, and I was like, I kind of want to feed it. So I went out looking for insects for it to eat, and I found this huge-ass Chinese mantis. I was like, well, that's a small snake, and that's a big mantis. I kind of want to know what's going to happen here. So I put and mind you, I was really young. I would not do this now. So I picked up the snake and put it in the enclosure, and I picked up the mantis and put it in the enclosure. And I just sat there for at least 20, 30 minutes waiting for them to go at it, and they just never did.
Wow. I'm speechless.
As an 8-year-old kid, I felt obligated to show my parents, so I brought the enclosure with the praying mantis snake into the house, and my mom freaked out. Because I guess if there's one thing worse than a praying mantis, it's a snake.
Like, intellectually, I know that I shouldn't be afraid of a snake, but the few times in my life that I've seen one slither through my lawn, I absolutely lose my shit.
Yeah,
Really?
it's a very visceral reaction.
Yes.
Since the beginning, I've been picking them up with my hands.
Yeah, Dan, you're abnormal, all right?
Yeah,
When it
that's,
comes to,
that's a
like,
little psycho.
animals
That's-
Ever
and
since I
bugs.
heard they were non-venomous, I was like, what the hell is it going to do to me?
Still got
I don't
teeth.
know. I don't know what it is. There's just something about them that's unsettling.
Yeah,
It's
it's
probably
not.
just instinct.
It's instinct, but it's also like it's something that we're not used to seeing. So when you do see it, and it's like when you do see a snake, it's always in like movies and shit where they're like fucking massive and like venomous.
Like, think
And
about
so
it.
you're used to being afraid of them.
we evolved in Africa, which does have venomous snakes. So it's probably like our primal instinct, seeing a snake, like, oh, we got to avoid it because it could kill
Bruh.
us.
Do I know a funny story about mean snakes?
Sure.
Please.
So this doesn't directly involve a snake, but maybe about 2 weeks ago, I was like, I had a really fucked up sleep schedule this past
What else
month.
is new?
So it was weird though, because I would end up sleeping in shifts of like 4 hours at a time.
Ooh.
But there was one night where I was sleeping and I like woke up in the middle of it and was still kind of in sleep mode. Like I've never had sleep paralysis, but it's what I imagine sleep paralysis is kind of like, where like you're awake technically, but you're also still asleep enough to like for your brain to create scenarios.
Yeah, and like when you look
Yeah.
around your room, everything looks like arms or like what they're not, like a creature or something.
Well, there was nothing like I had my eyes closed, but I was awake. And
okay.
and I all of a sudden I just had like this just this knowledge, this like instinct where I was just like, there's a fucking snake in my bed. So I just like literally like got up and like sprinted from my room into the hallway. And I was still like half asleep, and I guess it must have only been like 10 p.m. because my mom was like, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, "Shut up." And then I like crept into the room and was like, "Oh man, like I gotta like be careful." And I like looked like and I was like half asleep, and I was like looking like under the comforter, like, all right, I gotta check, make sure the snake's not here. And then I just like went back to bed, and then I woke up in the morning and I was like, what the fuck was that? Like what was I thinking?
No, that happens to me a lot actually in my sleep.
Yeah, I remember that in New York, Dan.
Yeah, I thought my roommate in New York, my vacation roommate Corey, I thought he was the owner of the Airbnb, a 45-year-old man.
Damon.
A
Named Damon.
45-year-old man of a different race than Corey.
Yeah.
You know what? I was tired. It was late. I couldn't see very well. I just saw a body.
This is the same thing as the snake. So you're both. If you can't make fun of Dan for it. All right.
Yeah, I'm owning it. I'm totally in the same boat.
My reaction to it was different than Max. I didn't get out of the bed and go, "What the fuck?" I went, "Well, I guess he's back. I'm not gonna lose sleep over
Yeah,
this."
that's a good
Also,
point.
I don't
You
know
were
if you
just
said it, but you were in the same bed as Damon/Corey.
And I just
yeah,
laid there.
you had totally accepted that Damon crawled into the bed with you. A total stranger. That
And
he
I
crawled
thought
into the bed.
I thought he kicked out Corey. I thought Corey was out in the living room.
Yeah, and then when
Like,
you woke
my
up
mind
and you saw it, and
rationalized.
you saw that Corey wasn't sleeping on the couch, you were like, "What?"
So all right, I take it back. I'm not in this. Me had the common sense to be afraid of the snake, not sleep with it.
Yeah, it's like if you laid there and let the boa constrict you.
But here's the thing: Damon and snakes are two different things. Because a snake, you jump out because you think it's gonna like slither around and attack you. I didn't. I rationalized my head as like, oh well, he's not gonna attack me. I'm his customer. And like,
He's just gonna sleep with you and cuddle a little bit.
Yeah, it's just gonna be absurdly
like,
uncomfortable and a little
like
terrifying.
he's laying facing away from me. I'm facing away from him. As long as I don't roll around a lot and bother him, I'll be fine.
Did you think that he hadn't noticed you, or did you think that he had just like noticed you and let you be?
No, he knew I was there. He knew I was there. I didn't want to make this dude uncomfortable.
Oh, Damon, what's that in your pants?
Oh.
Back onto snakes. I have one interesting story.
Okay.
So my Wii has been through a lot of crap. Since I bought it, it's fallen off tables and had all sorts of dirty discs put into it. But probably the weirdest injury that happened to my Wii was when a snake constricted it.
What?
Oh, you didn't know
Yeah,
about this,
so
Max?
in my
No.
basement,
Oh,
we sometimes have mice in our unfinished side of our basement. So
Don't
snakes
tell
will
me you
follow,
get.
yeah, snakes will follow the mice in. So
Oh my god.
we get occasionally, like maybe once every 2 years, we'll get a snake down here.
That is fucking terrifying.
And they're usually not very big.
yeah, but like it makes me think of when we were playing One in the Chamber in your basement with like Nerf guns, and imagine if like
Oh
a
my
fucking
god, you
snake
played one in
popped
the
out.
chamber. You played
Yeah,
one in the
with
chamber in
Nerf
Dan's
guns.
basement?
With
Yeah,
Nerf guns.
you weren't there for that.
Oh my god. How old were you?
Not that.
Like
It was pretty
17 or
recently.
18 or 19 even.
Wait, was Chris there?
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
so.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I was like, oh my god, what a coincidence. I played one in the chamber in my basement with Chris at some point. So
Yeah, I
he
think it
must
was
have
like me, Chris, Corey, and Dan.
so Chris must have transferred the game to you guys. I was gonna say.
Definitely.
I was gonna
Oh.
say that would have been such a weird coincidence if we both separately came to the idea of playing one in the chamber in your basement.
So back on the snake in my basement.
Yeah.
Sometimes snakes will manifest inside my basement somehow, and I come down to go play some Wii game, probably Super Smash Bros or something, and I look like, oh, someone must have like wrapped the wire around my Wii. So I go and check, and it's like it's brown with a tan stripe on it. I was like, what the heck kind of wire is that? And then I noticed there's like a wispy end on one side where it kind of tapers off. And I'm like, oh, that's a tail. It's like, this is a snake, a big ass garden snake, wrapped around my Wii because it was warm because it had just been ran like an hour before. It's like, wow. And I noticed that the little plastic part of it came off. I was like, oh, this snake constricted my Wii so hard that the plastic part fell off.
Jeez.
Wow. That is what I would describe as terrifying.
So I knocked over the Wii because I
What?
didn't necessarily want to grab it because it was big. So I like knocked it off so I could try to get it to slither away, and it worked.
I
And
would have
then
just
I
left
grabbed
it, honestly.
And then I grabbed it, and I walked to the top of the street and let it free into the woods. And it was all gone.
See, for me, a home is one of the things I like most about my house is that I can comfortably walk around it knowing that it is snake free.
Yeah, it's like it's you can be so comfortable here, and then when you do see something like that, it affects you so much more than if you saw it like in the wild.
Obviously, we have different takes on snakes because when I look at a garden snake, I just see like, oh, it's just a harmless little snake. But like, obviously, I recognize that like man eaters, like pythons or super venomous snakes, like rattlesnakes, those are terrifying.
You know what it is for me? I think it's the stealth of a snake.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that, because every time I've ever seen a snake, it's always like they're like in the fucking grass, and it's not even tall grass. They're just in this very short grass, and I didn't even know they were there, and all of a sudden they slither away, and it just
They're
scares the
also
shit out
fat.
of me.
It makes
They're
you think
surprisingly
about like, oh my god, what if I didn't see that thing? I very easily could
Yeah,
have missed that.
I've seen 5 snakes in the past week, all in one day.
I haven't seen a snake in so long.
I haven't seen a snake since like I want to say 7th grade.
Well, if you want to see snakes, which I doubt
No.
you do, but if you want to, go to Pardon Gray. I took Buddy out to Pardon Gray, and we saw like 4 or 5 snakes there.
Well, I'll tell you. One time I was, and I mean, we should get off this topic soon because, again, we have a lot to talk about. But
we're about to hit the 50-minute mark.
It's a special
50 minutes.
Special episode.
All right. Well, after this story, we can move on to the next topic. There was actually one time where I was like, probably 6, I want to say, and we were like at this lake in New Hampshire. I mean, that makes me sound rich, but no, trust me, it was not. My family is not
that's what
rich.
New England people do. It's like you go to New Hampshire and go to a lake.
Yeah, it was not a private lake. So anyway, we were at a lake in New Hampshire, and I was very young, so I can't really put the size into perspective. But there was like a path through the woods, and the path was like adjacent to the water, and that was how you got from the lake to like the houses. And we were walking back from the water and turned, and just like laying, blocking the entire path was just this fucking giant snake. In my head, it was like 15 feet long, but that's because I was 6. So I don't know how actually long it was, but it was long enough to block that entire path, like coiled up.
So,
Oh,
And
Jesus.
do you know what species it is?
no idea. I remember looking through it. They had a guide there of like species that lived in that lake, and I remember looking through and trying to figure out what snake it was, but I couldn't figure it out.
My guess is a black rat snake because those hunt in the water. So if you're near a lake, and black rat snakes are, I think, the largest snakes in New England. It's either that or timber rattlesnakes, but I think it's
It was not a rattlesnake.
yeah, those are kind of rare in New England. Rat
It was
snakes
also
are
like
common.
it had also like very obviously just come up from the water and was like
Yeah.
resting.
Oh,
I
so that
put my
makes
money
sense.
on a black rat snake. I've seen those in lakes before.
All right. Anyway, that was a good tangent though. I like the
It went from
This-
murder hornets to snakes.
yeah, I like the snake talk though. So I'm actually going to cut this topic and move it to next week. So anyway, have you guys seen the Mindy Kaling Twitter controversy?
No, I'm totally
No.
unfamiliar with this.
So I gotta confess, I logged onto Twitter a few times this week. I know I said I would stop, but I was on. I logged on probably about 6 or 7 this week, and I logged on the other day, and you guys know who Mindy Kaling is, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she plays for tell the listeners at home who Mindy Kaling is. Mindy Kaling plays Kelly on The Office. That's what she's most known for. She does a bunch of other shit too. Like she's had a lot of shows. She was
Isn't
in
she a really good writer, like comedy writer?
yeah, she was a writer on The Office. She was hired as a writer. And
Her, Toby, and Ryan.
yeah, and yeah, and she was in Inside Out too, I think, right?
Oh, I
Maybe.
didn't know about that.
No idea.
I don't know. That anyway, so Mindy Kaling. I log on to Twitter and all of a sudden there are just these people being like, "Oh, fucking Mindy Kaling. This shit fucking sucks. Fuck that bitch." What? Like what happened? So I stumble across the the original document. All it was Mindy Kaling tweeting about how she really wanted this certain set of pots and pans for her kitchen, and then the company who makes them being like, "Hey, I'll send you some for free because you're famous," and then she being like, "Okay, cool," and people went fucking ballistic. People are responding to the company being like, "Oh my god, I want pots and pans. Like I've never had a pot and pan in my entire adult life that I could
What the
call my own.
fuck?
How fucking dare you?" It's unbelievable. And people are taking shots at her being like, "Oh, it's fuck, I hate that bitch. I always hated her character on The Office. Fucking hasn't been relevant since 2012 when the show ended." It's unbelievable. Like what's going on?
That is ridiculous. What the fuck? It's like
People are so mad at her, not at her for that.
It's mostly just like Twitter outrage culture. Like this has happened
Yes,
many times.
yes.
But like
That
I
is-
can't even fathom where they're coming from, honestly. Like it's a celebrity doing like a promotion. Like not even a planned one, just an impromptu one. And it's like if fucking someone like advertised lip balm and you were like, how dare they get to advertise it? I want free lip balm so I can advertise it. Like, no, that's fucking stupid. It's a famous person getting free stuff for exposure. Like what Have you never been alive? Have you never
I
seen
would
that
think
before?
I'd be doing that.
Yeah,
It's-
if I could get free pots and pans just for a tweet, fuck it, I'll do that in a heartbeat. But I'm not mad at people who do that because they get to do that because they're famous.
I'm not gonna lie, it totally like it after being on for a few days and seeing that, it made me go like, yeah, you know what? This is why I left.
Yeah, that dude definitely. That's a good reason to leave.
It's just that complete mob mentality.
It's
On
just
the
so
topic-
fucking stupid.
On the topic of Twitter, there's been a lot of really weird like Twitter cancel things. They're like,
Oh,
I've
tell me
tried-
about it.
I've
Yeah.
tried to keep track of, but like, I'll see like I saw one that was like, it was either Cole or Dylan Sprouse, whichever one's on Riverdale. It was like, Cole or Dylan Sprouse is over party, and I'm like, what? Okay, sure. And I clicked on it, and it was all just people being like, I don't know what Cole did, but stan this person, and it was just like a K-pop gif, and like I scrolled for at least like 8 or 9 minutes, and I could not find a single tweet talking about what Cole Sprouse actually did, or Cole or Dylan or whatever. I could only see people saying like, I don't know what this person did, but stan Luna, stan Jimin, stan fucking Yusuke. Like, it was just like. And then I saw another one the other day, and I don't know who it was, but it's just like people are just like using these like random people, like famous people's names to be like Stan Luna, Stan Jimin.
I don't even know what that means, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't either.
Stan is just like, I feel like a fucking boomer talking like this, but Stan is just like being like an obsessed fan of someone. So if you stan,
Yeah, I know what that means, but I don't. What the fuck does Stan Luna mean?
Luna's a K-pop person, and so is Jimin.
What-
Like it's all
what is-
K-pop shit.
What does Luna have to do with Cole Sprouse?
Exactly.
Or Dylan Sprouse.
Exactly. Absolutely fucking nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay,
it's
that's
like
okay.
it's I don't know what Cole Sprouse or Dylan Sprouse did, but Luna's pretty cool, right? Stan Luna. That's
Dude,
all
imagine-
it is. It makes no sense to me.
Imagine if they did like a really shitty thing. Like they did something actually shitty.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be able to find out about it because all the Stan Luna people are just like taking up the hashtag.
What if he said something like really, really racist and we're
Or
all
like,
just
or like
like,
he,
leave him alone?
or like he killed someone.
Like he Caitlyn Jennered someone, like he ran them over. He ran someone over.
Yeah,
It really
He
sucks
killed-
that Cole Sprouse ran over that child, but Stan Luna.
leave Cole Sprouse alone. I don't know what you're mad at him for, but leave him alone.
Oh my god.
No, they're saying fuck this dude, Stan Luna instead, even though they don't know what he did.
Oh my god, that's so good.
But like,
this
it's
is
not even cancel
actually-
culture.
this is a segue into something I did not have scheduled for this week, but it actually kind of segues nicely.
Whoa.
This
Alright,
is a
who's-
random thought I had the other day. So Matt Lauer, right? We all
Yeah.
know what Matt Lauer did.
Yeah.
Where, if you're not familiar, he basically would trap women in his office, on the
With
Today
a fucking
Show and rape
supervillain
them.
button under
Tell them
his
about
desk
the
that would
button.
lock the door.
Yeah, he had a button on his desk that would lock the door from his desk.
Dude,
That
No
is so like
escape.
cinematic and cartoonish in how evil it is. Like I can imagine the shot composition of that.
I love picturing the guy who comes in to install that button, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Matt, what do you want this button for?" And he's just like, security."
He's like, all right, man.
Do you want it to unlock the door so you can just like get out in case you accidentally lock it? No, I want it to lock the door.
1 point of access.
So, Matt Lauer, right? So that's pretty fucked up. what's is what Matt Lauer did better or worse
Oh no.
than a rapist who murders his victim and buries their bodies in the woods?
Well,
So on one hand we have serial rapist and murderer, or serial rapist who lets them live with the trauma.
all
I
right.
mean,
So
I'm
first of
I'm
all,
I'm I'm not trying to compare that honestly. That's apples and oranges. Those are two
I'll
breeds of fucked up.
I'll just say that rape is fucked up, no matter how you look at it.
Really?
But let's just say murder. So murder is legally murder is the worst offense that you can do, with rape being the second. So
It also splits the soul.
one could legally, from a legal perspective, the rapist and murderer is, I guess, the worst out of these two terrible outcomes.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about legal. Matt Lauer's not even fucking prison. We're talking about moral here.
Okay, I have a bit of like I think it's if they left them alive with the intent of them being tortured for the rest of their lives because of it, they're probably worse.
That
And then
would be
aside-
so fucking.
Yeah,
That's
that's
like a
awful.
long-term scheme.
Yeah, but
Were
I'm
they,
saying
like-
that's so much worse. Like if they're
Were
like, you're
they-
gonna live with this, and I'm gonna let you live only because of that.
Where they would like Matt. I feel bad even making a joke, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Where like Matt Lauer will like see the intern in the office like 3 months from now, and he just like nudges her a little bit, and he's like, "Hey,
No,
remember
yeah,
that time?"
that's pure evil. Like
That is
honestly,
so
Good
fucked
times,
up.
right?
I think that's worse than the murder. I'm not going to compare any other situation, but I think that explicitly is so much worse than the murder. Like that is
Yeah, that
that is another
Hey.
brand of sadistic.
One more time, like the good old days,
Oh,
that
oh.
somehow that was so much worse, and I didn't even think that was possible.
No, yeah, that's the worst. That's worst. Out of all
Oh
of them.
my god, that.
Also, when they came out,
Oh, I
I'm kind
feel
of
dirty even saying that. Ugh.
on a side note, along more of the lines of Matt Lauer. When they came out with the news that Matt Lauer was a rapist, that was the first time it like really hit me. It's like, oh, I trusted this person, because like I was too young to really know about Bill Cosby. And, like, who the hell knows about Harvey Weinstein unless you're like a movie buff? But Matt Lauer, I'd watch him like every weekend.
No, I'm probably worse than you. I watched him every single morning. Like I used to wake up early and watch the news with my mom and shit. And it was
On the
always Matt
Today
Lauer,
Show.
Al Roker, and Meredith Vieira. And it
Yeah,
was like,
I literally grew up on Matt Lauer since I was like 5 years.
like when that
I
came
mean,
out, that
I-
really hit me. Like I really don't know anything about these people on
I mean,
media.
no, Matt Lauer. Everyone kind of knew he was a dick, though. Like even me at age 10, it was like very clear reading between the lines that Ann Curry left that show because Matt Lauer was such a fucking douchebag.
I wasn't into it enough to think about that really. It was
Yeah, I
just a
wasn't
face
either.
that I saw every day.
Mhm.
Al
Like-
Roker was my favorite.
Oh, obviously Al's
Yeah, Al
Al's a
Roker's the
pimp.
fucking man.
But like
And I'm glad it wasn't
yeah.
him.
that definitely like sort of hit me of like I shouldn't trust all these celebrities or like people just blindly when that happened. That's when it really sunk in for me.
Have you ever seen the I know this is one of your biggest pet peeves, Jonah, but have you ever seen the
stand up.
Have you ever seen the Norm Macdonald stand up about Bill Cosby?
You can
I
just
have
assume I'm a no whenever you talk about any stand up segment.
I have not.
Well, he makes a joke where he's talking Bill Cosby, and he's like, it's about how people will always be like, oh man, and the worst thing about Bill Cosby was that he was a hypocrite. And Norm's whole bit is like, I don't think that wouldn't be on the top of my list. And then he goes through like his top three, where he's like, number one is probably I would say the raping. That I'd probably put that one.
Really?
He's like,
I think that's what most people would say.
He's like, number 2, I would probably put the drugging. And then he goes, and number 3, I would say is scheming. Like, that's the most evil shit of all time. I laughed so hard at that, thinking about the scheming of Bill Cosby. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know if that translates as when it's not Norm delivering it, but I thought that was so fucked up.
No, yeah. Well, it is really fucked up when you think about them like actually planning this out. Like, and like you said, like fucking Matt Lauer having the button installed.
Yeah, that's so fucked up. I will tell you, I have gotten so many jokes in the last 2 years from that button material.
Oh my god.
I'm not proud to admit it, but I've had definitely my share of laughs at the Matt Lauer button.
Well, it's so cartoonish.
Like it's so comical.
I have a really bad like imagination and like ability to picture things, but I can perfectly imagine like him reaching down and pressing it, and like the framing, the lighting, like the what's in focus, what's out of focus, everything. Like it's so vivid.
Oh my god.
Oh, so you're the new
it's
intern.
fucked up, but like
that. Yeah, that. That wow. That that's so fucked up.
Damn, we
also
got
like
bad.
Oh my god.
Did none of them like fight back to him? Like, would there be like a time where he opens up the doors again and he has like a black guy? He's like, "Hey Matt, where'd you get that black guy? None of your business."
Yeah, he's got fingernail scrapes on his face. Like,
I feel like that would happen though.
It didn't.
No,
Apparently not.
Dan, it definitely wouldn't. He's in a position of power.
Well, yeah, when you're a star, they just let you do it.
Ding, ding, ding. All right. Are we ready to get to the Max segment to end the show?
Yeah, I want to learn. I need to cleanse my brain.
All right. Well, first off, a word from our sponsors. Are you bored of the same old tired porn? Have you seen the Riley Reid real estate video one time too many? Well, good news. Introducing Fuck.com. Fuck offers hundreds of categories, including POV, JOI, and even more obscure things such as fucking machine and fat Asian. And use promo code MIXLIX, that's MIXLIX, for 15% off of your next purchase of Fuck Premium. But hurry, the offer is first come, first serve. Only the first person to apply will get the discount. Wait a minute. It seems like the code has been redeemed by Daniel Farnworth. Well, in any case, Fuck.com serves all your porn needs one fuck at a time. Again, that's Fuck.com. FUQ.com. Now back to the podcast. All right. So, again, I know this is supposed to be... This was originally billed as... And then we made a detour with the Insane Clown Posse, Defense. I'm making another detour today. So if you were expecting history, you're going to be disappointed. Okay. This is a Max theory. Something that's been on my mind for a while that I want to think about. No. This is a theory about humanity.
Oh, some spiritual enlightenment shit.
Wow, some philosophy in here.
So, I'm not going to mention her name for obvious reasons.
Oh.
But there was a girl who I went to high school who was not in my year, but...
Was she in mine?
I'm not going to say. You guys... I can tell you guys after the show.
Okay.
You guys might know.
We honestly find out through context clues.
Yeah, there's a chance you will. So anyway, there was a girl who was not in my year in high school who was popular and hung out with all the popular girls and was included in that friend group and was treated as such.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that looks and popularity are one and the same because I mean, and obviously, I'm also not saying that either one defines a person, looks or popularity. But oftentimes they do go hand in hand. Where, like, if you try to picture the popular girls in your head, just like your blank picture of what a popular high school girl looks like, you immediately are met with an image. And this girl did not really fit that image, I will say. I did not really think she was attractive. I don't think many people really thought she was attractive, like exceptionally so. And she always like confused me. I was always so intrigued by her because I was like, what? Like, what exactly is it that made her popular? And again, I'm not saying that like looks are how you should value friends, but let's be honest, popularity is incredibly shallow and vapid. And a lot of times looks really are what particularly for girls. So I was always so interested in this. Like, what? Like what is it about her that she got into this popular group? And it wasn't even just popular in her own year because she was hanging out with popular people from other years as well. Um then at some point she just became like really hot later on in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And
Go
so
on.
so strange to me because it almost makes me think that there was something like inherent about her that made her popular and that oh, I'm it's almost like how when you look at a pedophile on To Catch a Predator and you see what they look like, you're like, oh yeah, of fucking course that guy's a pedophile.
Uh-huh.
It almost makes me think that there's some sort of inherent like connection between personality and your physical appearance. Because again, when you see a nerd, you look at that guy and you're like, yeah, of course he's a nerd. And then your suspicions are confirmed if you spend time around. Like it's so strange. And hers was even crazier because it's almost like there was something about her personality that inherently lent it to her becoming popular. And then her looks, even though they came late, did not affect her popularity, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think I get where you're going, but
Yeah, I don't know how easy that was to follow. I haven't really, like thought out how to put it into words, but that is something I've been thinking about for a long time.
so are you wondering about like why popular people have this certain personality that makes them popular?
No, it's more like there was something about like I don't know what it was, but there was something about her that it was it was almost like something where other people could see that even if they weren't thinking about it consciously, they could see that she would go into being attractive, even though there was no way you could have seen that. It was just a part of her inherent personality that even though it hadn't come yet,
It was
it was
going.
just it was part of her whole ethos.
Okay. Um, I don't know how much I agree with that, but
It's
I think
always
it's just some
with this.
people have like attractive personalities, and then she just happened to have both.
I don't know what it was, and I didn't really know her, but from a distance, she just always used to intrigue me.
Hmm.
I think you just had a crush
Oh,
on her.
maybe that's it. Maybe that's what I don't think that's what it was.
Your appearance greatly affects your experiences in life.
Yeah, and your
So
experiences in life greatly mold your personality, especially in adolescence.
yeah,
I
so
think
like
if anything it's like she just happened to be friends with these popular people which influenced her personality sort of made it sort of a a positive feedback loop of like she's gets popular because of her personality, and because she's popular, it like sort of cements that personality even more. And then sort of as a popular person, you're expected to look a certain way, and that might have made given her like body image issues or something, and that could have caused her drastic transformation. Because if I am thinking about who you're thinking about, it was a pretty intense transformation.
No, you're. I know you're not, because I see where the mistake happened. We are not thinking about the same person.
I
Okay.
think
I'm
I
not-
know who you're talking about.
I'm not talking about someone who lost weight. I'm talking about somebody who had something biological happen to them.
Like tits.
Yes.
Okay, then that's just puberty, but I don't know. I think there's just sort of a feedback loop that's inherent in popularity that enforces the personality, which enforces the popularity, which enforces the personality, which enforces the looks, and it's just sort of like that's why people start to reach stereotypes.
But the looks didn't. The looks were totally natural, and you could have never seen them coming.
Well, then that's just shit happens.
It's so weird. It breaks my brain.
I mean, it's just the same as like when you see a popular person after high school and they look like the fucking 30-year-old gym teacher. Like it's
Yeah.
just like shit just happens. People develop.
But they were already popular before that.
Yeah, because that's not all that matters. It matters more about your personality, and especially who you're friends with, and who you've ingratiated yourself to. That's
But
what matters the most.
I always assumed that the popular girls kind of cut bait with the ones who weren't up to slack looks wise.
I think maybe in
I
like
don't
the
know about
80s,
that.
but I've seen plenty of fucking ugly popular people on both ends of the gender. Like
I'm
it
not
doesn't
100%.
matter.
I'm not quite sure who you're talking about, and so I don't want to like put down these people, but I don't think kids nowadays do that so much. Like they definitely like there definitely will be like a group of popular girls who tend to look more attractive, but like they're not nearly as mean as the stereotypes, you know?
Yeah, I don't
No,
think
especially at our school there.
I don't think it's like there's a group of four girls, 1, 2, and 3 are hot as shit. 4 is kind of ugly, so they kick her in the head and push her out of the group. Like I think they're just friends with each other, and they just happen to be popular. And then she got tits apparently.
Maybe.
Also,
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm totally over.
I think you're putting correlations when there aren't any, especially when this is like one very particular sample.
here's an interesting theory. It's surplus attractiveness. So all of their attractiveness added up so that they had enough to give more to this person. So it kind of made up, you know?
I think you're just overthinking this, Max.
I could be. That's definitely possible. But I don't know.
It's a very
been
interesting
years.
coincidence if I'm interpreting it correctly, but
It's been years, and this person fascinated me back then. Still does now.
I really look forward to the reveal of who it is.
Yeah, maybe this just doesn't really work that well. Maybe this was a terrible segment. Maybe maybe I
It's
should
at the
go
end,
back
anyways.
Maybe I should go back to talking about Coke.
Well,
I don't know, I like
segment.
Max's philosophy time.
Yeah, we added this segment to tie in with our sponsor. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sponsored by fuck.com.
Use code
Yeah.
MixLix when you're buying your premium for 15% off.
Yeah. So that was the show this week. Do you guys have any last words?
Make sure you wear a mask.
Yes. That's actually. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Make sure you follow, even though the state's starting to be open. now is not the time to go buck wild and ruin the progress that's been made.
Yeah, don't be an ass.
Your grandparents are your grandparents' lives depend on it. All right.
And
So, on your mat.
possibly even your own. So
Right.
Yeah, it's
be
become
safe.
more apparent that it's less of an age issue.
So be safe, be careful, and I will hopefully catch you next week. Later.
Bye.
See ya.